Holy smokes! Christopher Columbus, that is no way to address the king and queen of Spain. What is wrong with you? Okay, so you know how we're looking for a new trade route to India, right? Right. And the earth is round, right? Right. So I'm thinking we can just sail the other way around the planet, right? Yeah. So I set sail, right? Mm-hmm. And I reach India, right? Right. Wrong.
What do you mean you reach India?
I did not. Alright, get to the point. Did you know there's a whole nother freaking continent out there? Okay, and do you think I should care about this? Why? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to mention there's gold everywhere?
What's about gold?
Gold? Columbus landed in Central America.
Now I know why gold was popular
and he had
back
the
then.
time of his life. And by that I mean he went on a huge theft and murder spree. He stole gold, jewelry, people, and a hammock. And then he returned to show off all of his riches, including a few previously undiscovered items such as tobacco, the pineapple, turkeys, and a hammock. Now I know what you're thinking, but oversimplified, Columbus didn't discover America, the Vikings did, and you'd be partially right. In the 11th century, Leif Erikson was the first European to land in America. But hey, if you love Vikings so much, then why don't you check out today's sponsor? Vikings War of Clans is a mobile game that was inspired by the famous strategy and RPG games of like Age of Empires and Civilization. Do you like building cities, collecting resources, training armies, joining a clan, and
naval battles?
Vikings War of Clans is for you. And what makes it so addictive is that more than 20 million online players are constantly changing the way they can
everything's
fighting over resources, forging new alliances, and competing in live events. Support my channel by downloading Vikings for free, only from my links in the description box below, and get the special bonus of 200 gold coins and a protective shield. Don't forget to look me up and join my Vikings clan under my nickname, Oversimplified. Now where was I?
200 gold?
Columbus, time of his
that.
life, hammock. And suddenly the race was on to explore and conquer the new world. After a couple centuries of warring with the natives and each other, the European powers had claimed quite a lot of land, including this area, which both the English and the French claimed as theirs. One day the French said, I'm going to build some forts along here. And the English were like, could you not? And the French said, sorry, but no, I could not. And they went ahead and built their forts, which pissed off the English. So they sent an up-and-coming British lieutenant colonel by the name of George Washington with a combined force of British troops and Native Americans. After a short battle, the French commander said, all right, we'll surrender. Okay, boys, pack it up. Their surrender.
All over here and all the way until here.
Not meant to split his head open with a tomahawk? Don't worry, it's not like
then after I said
Napoleon showed up. A 7-year-long major global conflict, which Great Britain won. At the peace negotiations, Spain gave up Florida, while France gave up all of its territories in North America. But Britain's victory came at a cost of £60 million.
Money.
They were now broke, in a lot of debt, and had to come up with some way to repay it. So they went to the colonies and said, okay, listen up. So a huge part of the war was spent protecting you from the French, and now we have no money because of it.
This is kind of their fault that they lost all their money.
Okay, so we spent a lot of money protecting you from the French, right?
It's kind of your fault that you lost all of your money.
That certainly is a pickle. Listen,
it's all your fault.
We spent all of our money protecting you.
You decided to fight the French, and that's how you lost all your money.
No.
So that's why we get our independence.
We're going to go ahead and tax you.
So you should have thought about that before you did it.
Forcing the colonists to import sugar and molasses exclusively from the British.
And one thing, why did you have to tax us? Even though you could attack Canada,
hello shopkeep, hello Mr. Bumblebee,
India,
deed for your new shack, stamp, that'll
or even Scotland.
Wait, what was that? It's the new tax.
Why?
Any documentation I make, and you have to pay for it. Would you like to see this pamphlet that explains everything?
Yes.
Yes, please. Okay. Stamp, 2 pence.
Yes.
This is awful.
Do we just pay a lot of taxes?
So I can go gamble my payment.
Well, India does not pay all the taxes. No. So that...
Don't do it.
I don't get it. Why do you tax us?
Obviously, the colonists were
Why?
like, hey,
why do you tax us?
This new tax legislation right here, this is BS. Until now, they had enjoyed relative freedom to rule themselves, and now suddenly Britain was asserting its control. They were especially...
And you let us have freedom, and we deserve that freedom.
Levying taxes on them. So they protested.
Even therefore, I pretty much like the British, because if you fight for them, you get freedom as you're a black person.
Quite a toll on British business, and
if you're a trader, you don't get freedom.
To repeal the Stamp Act. But we still desperately...
Even though back then, even though one of the persons I forgot their name, we thought he had 100 slaves, we don't have to talk about it.
I look fabulous.
Right now.
Have you ever seen such a handsome boy? No, sir,
Sponsored by the American Revolution. Civil War.
King that ever lived, and everybody likes you. You're doing such a good job. Your Majesty? Oh, you're still here. Get the hell out. So in 1766, the British made a declaration saying, we can do what we want because we're in charge and you can all go suck it. Then they levied a whole bunch of new taxes on the Americans via import duties. Glass? There's a tax for that.
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 All
that.
There's a tax for that. And once again,
why is everything a tax?
British business.
I know when we got our civil war, you taxed the tea.
They're my colonies, and I have to be able to assert my control.
And you wouldn't have a civil war if you wouldn't have a civil independence in your 13 colonies.
And as British
if
arrived,
you just stopped.
Was palpable. You could cut it with a knife.
Think about
it
it.
was all about to come to a head. On March 5th, a band of local patriots
Japan lost. Their economy was scrappy, but their military was just fine. Their military was just fine. So what? Why did you have to tax?
One thing leads to another.
Tell me, why did you have to tax? If your military was fine,
the Patriot
and
colonies, the Boston
I know your economy was scrappy, but your military was fine. I don't get it, but
continued to grow.
I don't
the British
get it.
revenue schooner that ran aground in Rhode Island was burned by the locals.
Feel bad for the people that are
the
stuck
governor
in
of Massachusetts
stranded.
supported the suppression of the colonies. His house was burned by the locals.
Oh,
The colonists
wow.
would set their sights on the remaining tax on
Wow.
tea. On December 16, 1773, a band of patriots
Baby,
known as the
feel
Sons of Liberty
yourself
disguised
as
themselves as
Native
Native Americans marched
And,
down to Boston Harbor.
Are there still Native Americans in this world?
Thousands of spectators threw
I've been
nearly
asking myself
10,000
that.
pounds worth of tea overboard. The British were disgusted
Huh.
and punished Massachusetts with
A British person would do that. Their other sugar would go in the ocean.
3,000 more troops to occupy the city, meaning Boston and Massachusetts were now
Boston was
essentially
under
the direct
British
rule of
control.
Britain. And
Wow.
were the people pissed.
Wait, there's
All the
Boston
colonists saw
named
what was happening
so
and what
named
might be
Boston?
next. So they called a brain trust to decide what to do. 56
New
delegates
York
from 12
was
colonies
named
gathered and met in Philadelphia at the First
New-
Continental Congress. And
New
the roll forward like a
Amsterdam.
who's who of America's finest
Yeah,
thinkers. I'm talking
you know
Lawrence
that?
extraordinaire
New York
Johnny
was
A. and
named
Johnny J,
New
experienced
Amsterdam.
military commander George Washington,
President.
businessman and future alcoholic beverage Samuel
There's
Adams,
only one
fiery
thing
orator,
that you not like him might
guy who
like
married a
when
rich
these
lady,
guys
Big Jim
said.
Dickinson. And while they weren't president
And
of the first
soon in the
Congress, some
video.
names like James Madison, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and much later Alexander Hamilton would all serve time in the Continental Congress. The question now, though, was what to do about the British. After much bitter debate and disagreement, they eventually agreed on an amazing solution. They would simply ask the British to stop. Can you stop? No, it didn't work. Okay, then tell the local militias to start arming and be ready at a minute's notice. And across the colonies, these Minutemen stood ready for the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. Now, having the colonies in open rebellion is
And
one
World War
thing.
II,
Once
the
they start
Soviet
arming
Union
themselves,
had
that's when it
that-
really
I'm
hits
not
the
about to say
fan.
that.
So British General Thomas Gage ordered 700
they
troops
had
from
that
Boston out
meant
into the
too.
rebel-controlled Massachusetts
In
countryside
World War
to destroy stores of arms and ammunition.
I don't know
held by the
how
rebels in
the
Concord.
British
The British
got
set out
their
in the
butt
middle of the night.
whooped by
Patriots,
them.
including Paul Revere, rode ahead to warn that the British were coming, giving the rebels time to
If
prepare.
technology
The two sides
was
met in
good
Lexington
back then,
as the
they
sun
would have
began to rise.
been
They faced off against each
Actually, a
other, and in
minute.
the confusion, somebody shot first.
I'm not gonna say anything.
The shot heard around the world marked the beginning of the
I'm not
American War
gonna
of
say
Independence.
anything.
The rebels were outnumbered and had to fall back to Concord as the British split up to search for rebel supplies. However, more and more Patriot rebels kept showing up, and
I
this
don't
time
think the
it was
British not
British
that
who were outnumbered
smart.
as more fighting kicked off in Concord.
You have
The
rebels
National
keep
Army
coming.
was forced to
If you
pull back
know
to
that they're
Boston
gonna
at the
keep
hands of
coming,
local poor
you should
militia.
retreat.
And all along the British
And you're gonna keep going down an alley, down a street, and you keep getting bombarded.
Boston,
Who does that?
surrounded them.
Who
Boston
does
and
that?
the British were now under siege.
You
and small
could
and naval
trick
skirmishes
them.
continued around the city. The
And
British would suffer another
wait a minute.
embarrassing blow. This time
Why,
in upstate New
if
York,
you didn't
when
want
Benedict
a,
Arnold concocted a
if
plan
you didn't
to
want
British
them
stronghold
to
Fort
put down the thing,
Ticonderoga, which
why
was
did you
Washington's
even
weapon and
attack the
ammunition. He
French?
set off towards the fort alone,
They're
having to
forts.
recruit men
What did they
along
do
with
to
him
you?
when he came across the
They're
Green
nothing.
Rifle, led by Ethan Allen, who, as it turned out,
If you don't want a war,
and he did. So they
and
decided to
you
work
have
together.
to
but
spend all your
I'm in charge.
economy money,
No,
then why did you
I'm in
attack the
charge.
French?
No, I'm in charge.
Okay,
No,
never
I'm in
mind.
charge.
I thought you were
Sometime
a
until
smart
the Green
British
Rifle was told to go
Empire.
home, and Arnold
In
was
World
confused.
II,
The
in World I, they were called the Great Britain. Now they're called the UK, or you just call the UK. No, it's the British.
Wow, great job, Ethan. Very impressive. By the way, what happened to that
As a
other guy who decided to
language,
take the
I know why we like tea.
Benedict Arnold. Never
We
heard of
have this from because we,
it. Ouch.
I think everyone should like tea in America because
What?
we have tea because
Nobody knew
we
what was
used to be
going on.
British.
The colonies were in open rebellion.
And
For now,
in
they even
fact,
seemed to be
we have
British. So King George fired General
ancestors
Gage,
that were
replacing with
British.
General William Howe, and ordered the rebellion
So,
to be
yeah.
put down immediately.
Now I
Okay, the
know
British are definitely
something
going to
that we
retaliate for all
always
of this, so we should
like
probably
tea.
put together a proper army. First,
Everyone don't
pick
forget
commander
about
in
the
chief.
tea. I
think
just
we can all
realized
agree
that.
that job should go to the man,
When I'm at
the myth,
home,
the
there's
legend,
always
George
tea.
Washington. My friends,
There's
I am humbled and
always
honored that
tea.
you consider me for such an
And that
important
is so
role. I
true.
did not expect for this.
A parent does not leave a tea
The last
behind.
10 months. We all know you wanted this, so cut the crap.
That is kind of true.
Dude,
That is really true.
uncool. So Washington began his journey up to Boston to take command of the newly established Continental Army, just as the British made their first major attempt to break the siege. They made plans to take the high ground on Bunker Hill. The spies warned the Continentals of the British plan, so they fortified Bunker Hill and set defensive positions on nearby Breed's Hill. The day of the battle came, and as the British advanced,
who says their boys up like that? It doesn't make sense.
Twice they tried to climb the hill.
That's like a waste of men.
The battle lasted 3 hours until the Continentals finally
ran
out of ammunition and had to retreat, allowing the British to take the hill. While technically a British victory, they suffered
even though there's more casualties than not 400
casualties. The colonists
casualties.
showed the British that this wasn't just a rebellion,
Even though I don't know how
war,
many
and they were
population that we had back then.
One thing they weren't sure about was why
don't
they
know
were
how.
fighting. Well, some radicals were starting to throw around the Irish to
Independence!
eventually repair their relationship.
Independence!
So they sent a letter to King George saying, "Hey man, looks like things aren't going well.
Independence!
Taxes and let's be friends.
Independence!
Gonna
Independence!
kick your ass." Send that
What?
to the colonies, Your Majesty. Your handwriting
It
is
must have
terrible.
been bad.
Are
No
you
one
sure?
pretty much
Just
knew how to write.
What does it say? He's
I'm
gonna
gonna lick
lick my
your
throat. So for the remainder of the year, small engagements continued to occur around the colonies. The British burned down the towns of Falmouth, Massachusetts and Norfolk, Virginia as revenge for earlier anti-British incidents. These actions played right into the hands of patriot propaganda. Overseas,
burned
the
down
British
two of
received
our
troops, and the French and
cities.
Spanish would soon begin sending
And
supplies to the
thank you,
rebel
Spain
cause.
and
During
the
this time, there was
French.
also minor fighting going
Well,
on between
actually,
and
the
loyalist
French would have
militias in the southern
independence.
colonies. Benedict Arnold
Have a
was
civil
on a mission
war.
to win some personal glory for himself, so he
I
headed
know
up an attempt to
who
invade
begins.
Canada in a two-pronged attack. The Continentals
Napoleon.
managed to capture some British forts and the city of
And
Montreal,
if
but
you
a harsh
did not,
snowstorm
Napoleon
with
so
small
lied
forts
to
saw them
us.
defeated and pushed back at Quebec City, and they were forced to retreat all the way to Fort Ticonderoga. Speaking of which, remember all those guns and ammunition? Well, this guy's got a plan for what to do with them. He
So,
uses oxen
yeah.
to drag 120,000 pounds of artillery for 2 months through the harsh winter, 300 miles all the way to Washington and his Continental Army surrounding Boston. Boom. Washington's got himself some big guns,
Well, what
which is
the-
fortunate because up until now his army had been suffering through the cold winter, not knowing when the siege would end. Now they could make a move. Washington wanted to launch a full assault on the city, but his
That's
junior
not that
officers thought the
smart,
British were
but
too
okay.
fortified. And to his credit, Washington was great at hearing and taking on board the
What?
ideas of
That's
others.
good
Instead,
hearing.
the
Everyone
Continentals
that
worked for
does
the
have
night,
good
setting the
hearing.
guns up on Dorchester
I
Heights.
can hear
overlooking the
all the
city
way in
from
my
Vancouver,
room
and the British saw the
when my
guns, so they
mom
knew
is
they were
talking.
toast. Their positions were completely
And then
exposed. It
she's
was
calling
checkmate.
me.
They had no choice but to abandon the city. 120 ships carried 9,000 redcoats and
And did
2,000
you know
loyalists
that the
away
British-
from unknown fate.
you
And
didn't- you
Washington
can't
had his first
abandon
victory
a
of
city.
the war. Washington then moved his army to New York.
That's
knowing
one
that when the British
thing
returned,
that
they
you
would probably
did
land there.
that the
In the
British
meantime,
always
a friendly
does.
looking old man
They
by the
kept
name of Thomas
abandoning
Paine
their
had written and
cities
published
that
a
they
pamphlet called Common
occupied.
Sense, in which he advocated for
Wait,
total
what?
independence from Great Britain. It spread across the colonies like
It's
wildfire. And
still-
still remains the
wait,
best
what?
title in America. It was read aloud in taverns and
It's
meeting
still
rooms,
the
and brought
best
the idea of
title
independence
in-
into the mainstream.
to this
Congress began to
day?
seriously consider the idea.
Wow.
Thomas Jefferson was selected to write up an official
that
Declaration of
thing- that book
Independence,
has
and
to
he
be
went
400
hard,
years
writing that all
old.
men are created equal, with certain inalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of
We
happiness.
definitely-
Of course, Jefferson had over 100
Even though
slaves,
he
but
had
he
100
didn't have
slaves,
to
but
die. On the 2nd of
we don't
July,
talk about
Congress
those
voted
days.
unanimously
Those
to
days are
declare
gone.
independence, and John Adams declared that the 2nd of July would go down as the most remembered day in American history. Then a
2nd
couple
of
days
July,
later,
even though
independence
it's
action came into
definitely the
effect.
4th.
The United States of America was born. There was no turning back now. The Americans tore down a statue of King George in New York and melted him down into 40
What?
To the British, it was treason.
If you
the king
took
had
down
his way,
his statue
Washington
like
and
that,
all
it
of
would have been
Congress would be hung.
400,
Speaking of the British,
yeah.
guess who's back?
Treason! And they said it was treason.
130 warships and 25,000 men to New York. Washington knew that taking on the most powerful military in the world wouldn't be easy. The British set up camp on Staten Island as the Americans dug into defensive positions around Brooklyn Heights, waiting for an attack to come. But the British just waited, wearing down their opponent's nerve.
Oh,
while
come
building
on,
their
Britain.
At one point, they
Why?
launched a big scary artillery barrage and then said, you know, if I was you right now, I'd probably sue for peace. But Washington told them to shove it.
Yeah,
the
you better
Americans kept
shove
holding
it.
out for what was coming, and when they finally hit, they hit hard. 15,000
I feel bad
British
for
troops
these
approached the
men.
American position,
They didn't
and
know how to
two sides
shoot
fired on
back
each other
then.
in massive
We didn't
runs.
know
But
how
what
to
the
shoot.
Americans didn't realize
We
was
never
they were
knew
all
how to
having a
shoot
decoy.
back
The
then.
main British force was going around to
So
flank
we
the
kept
Americans from
losing.
behind, and when they
Losing.
arrived, they inflicted heavy casualties. The Americans
And that's how we
panicked and
lost that
retreated back
battle,
to
and that's
Brooklyn
how
Heights,
all
where
of
they then
New
found themselves
Jersey
trapped
became a
between the British
state.
Army and the river. It looked as though the war was already lost,
history
but
of New
luckily, instead of
Jersey.
attacking, the British decided to dig in for a siege.
Is that a trench warfare
Washington's army to escape across the
tactic?
river unimpeded. The British continued to chase
I
the
just
British
realized.
up Manhattan, and the Americans
Oh
suffered
my
defeat
goodness.
after
Oh
defeat
my goodness.
after defeat. It was a disaster.
Oh my goodness, he got his
Depression, as thousands of
butt
American POWs were left to rot as
I guess it
traitors.
would be hard finding the
Washington's army
great
fled through New
empire
Jersey all the way down
that
to
even though they
Pennsylvania.
took all of New
Ready,
Jersey,
badly beaten yet survived to fight
All of his men
another
were
day.
pretty much tired. So yeah. So bye everyone. See you next video. Bye bye bye. See you.